Hello everyone, I'm Andrea, also known as the Grammy Painter, and in this video tutorial I will show you how to paint an intruder from Awaken Realm's latest sci-fi board game, Nemesis. This is the list of materials that I'm going to use. I am going to work with metallic colors and clears because I want to obtain a paint scheme similar to the one of the box artwork. The best way to achieve this is by using an airbrush, but you may get a similar result with a normal brush. In this case, I will use a Western Green and a Salson Blue from Games Workshop range instead of Vallejo Clears, since they are meant to be applied with a brush. Now, let's start painting. I already removed all the mold lines from this model. This step is optional, but I think the miniature will look way better in the end, because mold lines will be really eye-catching once the model is painted. Now, I proceed by priming the whole model with Vallejo Black Primer. After that, I base coat the model with Vallejo Airgun Metal. It's a nice dark metal color and it's perfect to start working with. Once the model is base coated, it's time for the zenithal highlight. The zenithal will simulate a lighting source hitting the model from above. For this, I will use some Games Workshop Lit Belcher, thinned down with some acrylic thinner. It's time to build up some volume, so I highlight the model again with a layer of Games Workshop Iron Becca. Two more highlights layers are following, and I will use two different paints. Firstly, I will need some Vallejo steel to emphasize the most prominent parts, such as the upper parts of the arms, the head, and the top of the raptorial appendages. Secondly, I will use some Vallejo Air Chrome. I will apply it on the face and the hands. These are the parts that the viewer tends to notice first when looking at a miniature. Now I will wash the model with some Games Workshop non-oil, heavily thinned down with some Games Workshop Lamium medium. This will make the details pop more, but most importantly, being diluted, it will not take away the shine from the metal underneath. Make sure you dip your brush first in the Lamium pot and then in the non-oil, otherwise the former will be contaminated. It's now time to give the intruder a proper color. Let's start with a base coat of a 4:1 mix of Vallejo Transparent Blue and Vallejo Transparent Green. This has to be thinned down to a Games Workshop wash consistency, so that I can control better how much paint I'm applying. I don't want to obscure the metallic effect underneath completely. I will now paint all the areas in the lower part of the model with pure Vallejo Transparent Blue, always thinned down. Once done, it's time to use some Vallejo transparent green, thinned down as before, to paint the upper parts of its body, the raptorial appendages, and the head, in order to give the model the turquoise look of the box art. I want to focus particularly on the crystals that grows on its body. Now, I will bring some of the metallic shine back with a 4:1 mix of Vallejo transparent blue and Vallejo steel. I'm going to hit the most prominent areas, such as the top of its head, the tip of the raptorial appendages, and the upper part of the knee, taking care to avoid the green crystals. After that, I will do the same thing, but only with the top part of the crystals, using a 4:1 mix of Vallejo transparent green and Vallejo steel. Remember always to thin the mix down. The main part is now done. Let's work on the final details. I will apply Games Workshop Lead Belcher to base coat the teeth, the claws, and the miniature base itself. The base may need 2 layers for a nice even coat. Once it's dry, I will use some Vallejo chrome to highlight the teeth and the claws. It's the turn of the mouth and the muscle bundles. I will need to be extra careful while painting the inside of the mouth, since I already painted the teeth. Please be wiser than me, and invert the 2 steps. For this I will use a mixture of Games Workshop Screamer Pink and Games Workshop Nemesis Red. Now I will wash the previously painted parts with Games Workshop Carombag Crimson. Once they are dry, I will apply a second wash using Druky Violet this time. Make sure you give it plenty of time to dry. 30-40 minutes should be enough. Time to start highlighting the purple areas. I will add some Kislev Flesh to the mixture of Screamer Pink and Mephiston Red I prepared before. I will keep increasing the amount of Kislev Flesh to each consecutive layer applied, in order to build up some volume. I will apply a total of 3 layers. Now I start applying some rust patches on the base using a wide range of yellows, browns and oranges. MIG Shadow Rust, MIG Older Rust, MIG Dark Rust, MIG Medium Rust, MIG Light Rust, and Games Workshop Trust Layer Orange. I will use an old brush to dry brush and stipple the colors randomly on the base, starting with the darkest brown. It is important not to cover the previous layer completely. If you feel like you overdid the paints, just reapply some of the darker browns or yellows again. For instance, since I think I covered the metal layer too much, I will stipple some Games Workshop Detail Badger here and there. Once I am satisfied with the result, I will apply a wash of Games Workshop Agra's Earthshade on the whole base. This will enhance the details and give the base a more dirty and realistic look. While I'm waiting for the wash to dry, I will apply some Vallejo gloss varnish on all the muzzle bundles and the inner side of the mount. The gloss will make this part shine, thus giving them a more organic and gross look. Now I let the model dry out, and while doing so I start preparing the strings for the dripping blood effect. For this, I will need a piece of a clear plastic rod, a candle, and something to light it up, in this case a lighter. I pick up the plastic rod with a pair of tweezers, so I won't burn myself, and place the rod above the candle, not too close because I don't want to burn it, but just to melt it. Once ready, I'll start pulling the other side of the rod with a clipper, gently, in order to create a thin transparent string. I will attach 2-3 pieces of clear string with some PVA glue where I want the blood to drip from, in this case, the tip of the tail. I will let that fully dry and then, with the brush, I will apply some PVA glue diluted with some water to the very end of the string in order to create the beads. I will need multiple application of PVA glue to reach the desired dimension for the beads. Make sure you let the glue fully dry after each application. After that, I will dry brush some Vallejo steel on the base to simulate scratches on the floor that removed the layer of rust. It's time for some disgusting drool. In order to obtain a nasty effect, I'm going to use some UHU glue, which you should be able to find in every craft store. I'm not sure if it's available in the US, but I guess you can order some online if you need it. I will put a little glue on my palette, wait for a few seconds, and then I will apply some of it using a metallic rod on one side of the mouth and pull it to the opposite side, thus creating grossly realistic slime strings. We are close to the end. Now I will create some blood effect. I will need some Tamiya Clear Red and a small drop of Games Workshop Abaddon Black. I will apply this mixture to the drips, the tail, and everywhere I think that some blood would look good, such as one of the raptorial appendages and the base. I want to spray some blood on the miniature as well, and for this, I'll need to dilute the blood mixture with some thinner, as it is too thick to be properly sprayed. For this, I can either use my airbrush, but I'll need to lower the PSI and check on a piece of paper first, since I don't want to cover the entire model in blood, or an old toothbrush. Please do not use your actual toothbrush for this. The final step is to paint the board of the base with some Vallejo black primer for a nice matte finish. And there you have it! This intruder is now ready to spread fear aboard the Nemesis. This was the first time I ever recorded myself while painting, and my first approach to video editing. If you have any suggestion or tips for the next time, or something that you want me to cover with the tutorial, please let me know with a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in my next video.